when he sees this other large animatronic, this thing with a giant scythe. And he's like, oh, I gotta avoid that. Make sure I don't get sliced and diced. And as he's walking, Chucky goes, ah! And he pops up. He's like, you're not going anywhere, kid. What the hell is that? And the giant fucking scythe comes down, just slices half his face off. Ah! Ah! He's like, I told you so. And he runs off.
Hello, and thank you for checking out the video. I just want to let you know that I not only create content on my YouTube channel, Class in the Glass, but I'm also on Twitch, where I review movies, cartoons, and TV shows live, while also playing single-player games and multiplayer games. I also have a Patreon, where subscribers have access to hundreds of video and audio commentaries for films and cartoons, as well as podcasts and videocasts. In the meantime, thank you again for watching, and enjoy the video.
Child's Play 3. Look who's stalking.
A haircut ain't regulation, soldier.
Regulate this!
We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into my review for Child's Play 3. And I gotta say, Che, I've been saying for a while, I was like, listen, I like Child's Play 3. I think the original trilogy is quite good, chap. But, I have to admit, after rewatching it so recently, I'm like, yeah, this is not nearly as good as the first two films. It's just not doing enough different things, in my opinion. I mean, yes, you have the whole, the originality of the first movie, of course. And the second one, I thought kind of upped the ante. We got Andy, a different scenario, situation, new characters. You had the, brother-sister dynamic with Kyle, which I really liked. We were going different place. I thought was cool. But this one, yes, it takes place years later. Andy is older. They replaced the actor. It's not Alex Vincent. It's Justin Whalen who plays Andy. And he's in military academy. But I think it's with Chucky particularly, they didn't even do anything new with Chucky, which I thought, at that point was necessary. Everything I could see with Andy working, that he's older, he's going through the chain shed, he's kissing girls, he's reading Playboy, he's jerking off. I'm like, okay, this is different. But not enough with Chucky, who just felt like he was going, it's like we're kind of spinning our wheels. We're going through the motions, right? Yeah, I can see why Bride of Chucky kind of revitalized interest in the series and why people kind of hold that movie up as high as they do. Because, yeah, Child's Play 3, it's just kind of like, well, it's fine. It's not terrible. It's not bad, but it's not great either. It's fine. It's competent, chap. But that's just kind of my overall opinions on the movie. I want to go into more details in just a bit, obviously. Nitty-gritty details, chap. What about you guys? How many of you have seen 1991's Child's Play 3, which, funny enough, came out 9 months after the release of Child's Play 2. They filmed these very close to each other. And that's one of the big reasons why they recasted Alex Vincent with Justin Whalen. Let's see. I saw the Fellas review. I think that's good enough. I'm not sure what Fellas is. Casfe, only a few scenes. Lisa, it's been a while. Edgy Berserker, I like Child's Play 3, but it wasn't as good as the first two, so passable. Still passable. Yeah, exactly, it's passable. It's not awful, but yeah. Silent, it's been years, but I kind of remember it. Bat Boy, this movie would like you to believe that a small town carnival is somehow able to afford a full Disneyland scale dark ride with a giant ass fan on the floor. I know, but I do love this movie. Okay, we got a big fan. Because I've never seen any of these movies except Bride and Seed of Chucky. I've yet to watch any Chucky movies, says Giant Elephant. Cassie, Fellas is a reviewer on YouTube. Oh, okay, I'm not familiar with him at all. But yeah, it's funny, Chad, you read a Bride. I'm actually glad you brought up Bride of Chucky, Cristiano, right now, because I just realized, because I was doing a little research in the film, and also I wanted to figure out, okay, where does all this, take place? Child's Play 3 takes place 8 years after the events of Child's Play 2, right? But I was like, wait a minute, really? Apparently, Chad, Bride of Chucky only takes place 1 month after the events of Child's Play 3, where Tiffany gets the pieces of Chucky at the end of the film and sews them back together. I was like, oh shit, I thought it was years later. But I was like, oh, okay, so yeah, I guess that movie technically does take place in 1991, but it's just 1 month later when, Tiffany gets the material out of, police lockup. I was like, oh, that was fucking cool. And I guess Seed of Chucky is, at that point, I guess decades later, at least 20 years. So it's just interesting little fun fact, chat. But yeah, as I said, I don't think this movie is as good as the first two. It's not awful. I guess it's kind of ranked low in the Child's Play saga. Again, I have not seen, listen, I'll take 1,000 Child's Play 3s over Seed of Chucky, chat, personally. I really, that's the only one of the ones that I have seen so far that I think is that's a bad movie. That's a bad entry in the franchise. Bride of Chucky, I think, yes, is better than Child's Play 3. And I have not seen the 2 VOD movies. I'm very curious now more than ever. And obviously Chucky Season 1 I really enjoyed. Definitely one of the best entries, in the Child's Play series. And I'm very curious with Season 2 of Chucky. I've heard I guess people have at least seen what the first or second episode so far. People have been like, it's good. So happy about that, chat. But yeah, this one is it's okay. It's fine, chat. It's fine. But we need to open this movie up. And the thing is, Child's Play 2, I just feel like that shot better. It's a little more competent. Not that this is incompetently done. It was just, I don't know, it was just the camera work and the cinematography and that great intro. It was a wonderful start. The intro to this, it's trying to basically ape the same intro to the original, or Child's Play 2's intro, where you see kind of Chucky being put back together, the old flesh is being scraped away because they want to find out, hey, no, the doll's fine. There's nothing defective about it. It's okay. You got to keep selling these good guy dolls. Play Corp needs the money. And in this one, they do something similar where we go back to the factory, which has been, I guess, abandoned for years, and they're basically cleaning it up. And you see this giant crane come down over the mass of plastic meat that became Chucky when Kyle exploded him with the hose, right? When he got all swollen. Well, they have this giant crane come down, pick it up, and it slices into Chucky's body and just starts bleeding. And then it carries him over this giant vat, which is still working, by the way, with molten plastic, Chad. And again, this factory's been shut down for 8 years. Why is that thing still running? I don't know. But you see a trail of blood, drops of blood go into this giant vat, chat. And all I can describe the opening as is peanut butter and jelly, because you're just watching the blood and the molten plastic just mix together and melt into each other throughout this entire opening. And it just made me think about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or that bottled PB&J, or the ones that come in the jars where it's all mixed together. It's anytime, and now I'm going to think, if I ever, in the future, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I'm going to look at it and go, this reminds me to the opening of Child's Play 3, where the blood of Chucky mixed with the molten plastic. It looks just like it! And eventually is that what it's called? Goobers? It's called goobers, chat. Yeah, it's basically goobers. So you're eating Chucky, chat. Little Chucky's in your tummy right now. There you go. But we see him kind of being reformed, and it's a reverse shot. You could tell they're just melting the mask or whatever. But you see him slowly starting to be reformed as the Chucky doll we all know and love and hate and stuff. And then he just starts screaming, because he's been dead for 8 years, and the last memory he has is having his fucking face explode, his head explode. So he's probably a little peeved about that, Chad, the events of that film. We then cut from the peanut butter and jelly opening, and we're in a board meeting with corporate people, chat, talking about them trying to get the good guy doll, in toy stores again. Because of the events of the previous 2 films, good guy dolls, they dropped like a goddamn rock. They weren't able to sell them because people thought they were defective. They thought we were going to be walking around and murdering people, and it's just not good. We got good old Haskell Sullivan, he's back. And, you have some board members that are going Mr. Sullivan, maybe we should just move on to make other toys. And then you have these other people who are like, no, there's still something to this. We can do it. And Haskell Sullivan's like, look, everybody, whether it be selling cars, whether it be making cars, whether it be making nuclear weapons, or in this case, toys, the only thing that matters is the bottom line. The bottom line is the bottom line. I don't give a fuck about a child's trauma, okay? I don't care if our toys are defective and murdering people. I love money. Make money now. And they're like, oh, okay, sir, we'll make money. And right before they're about to leave, before Haskell Sullivan's going to go back to his apartment, chat, and drink his whiskey and practice his putting, this guy who, by the way, he has a type. Haskell Sullivan has a type, chat, when it comes to his personal assistants. Remember the personal assistant that Chucky killed in the opening of the movie, Madison? He gets basically another version of him. except he's a little chubbier. He's got a little bit of baby fat on him, chat. And he presents Haskell Sullivan with, oh, it's the first good guy doll off the assembly line. Here you go, sir. It's like, why the fuck would he want that? I don't know. He's like, excellent, my own good guy doll. Perfect. And they go back to the apartment, chat. By the way, they say it's the first, this is confusing to me, because it's the first good guy doll of the 90s, which technically isn't true because they were still making those in 1990, which is when Child's Play 2 takes place, and so I'm like, I'm confused. So I don't know, but I think it just said, it's like, yeah, well, I guess, properly entering in the 90s and 91. Whatever, chat, whatever. But, or I guess technically this film is supposed to take place, really, chat, in 1998. That's the time period for the movie, because if Child's Play 2 takes place 2 years after the events of Child's Play, that's in 1990, and then we move forward, and so now it's like 1998. And it's like, okay, so that's how it is. I guess that makes sense now. That makes sense why they say 98 in Bar Chucky, because Bar Chucky came out. Anyway, chat, we're getting lost in the minutia of the timeline. But Haskell Sullivan, he takes the doll, and he goes back to his apartment, chat, and it looks like he stole the penthouse from Bruce Wayne from Batman the Animated Series, chat, because apparently in the late 90s, Art Deco came back into fashion. It was very vogue to have an Art Deco apartment in 1998, and this guy fucking has it. Like, literally, look at his apartment and look at any inside house or mansion in Batman Animated Series. It looks exactly like this guy's place. His new assistant, Maddie, I'm gonna call him Maddie too. He leaves and is like, oh, have a good night, sir. He's like, it's rich. I can't wait to make more money. And so Haskell Sullivan, he helps himself to a nice cocktail, chat, a nice bourbon, nice whiskey drink, and then we slowly close in on the good guy doll box, and oh shit! The good guy doll that was inside is gone, chat. So it's obviously Chucky. So first off the assembly line, Chucky is, he was that doll, the first one. The thing that would have been cool to me, I realized, even when I was doing because I did an odd-view commentary for this movie, is I thought it would have been really cool if when his blood mixed in with the giant vat of molten peanut butter, like that made multiple Chuckies. And that would have been cool. See, that's what they should have done with this one. He should have been able to control multiple toys and stuff, which they kind of later on do that in various entries in the series. They introduced the idea of multiple Chuckies in the VOD movies, and most recently in the Chucky series, but also in Child's Play, where the new one, the 2019 one, where he's able to hack into toys and take control of them and kill people. I was like, they should have done that. That's what should have happened in this movie. It should have happened here, chat, but they don't do that. He's just ordinary Chucky again, as ordinary as Chucky can get. A supernatural voodoo doll. Who used voodoo magic to put his soul inside the body. Any case, he's fucking running around, and for the rest of this scene, we just watch this old man just moan and groan, and this guy was on death's door anyway, because he's like, he must have had just a hard day trying to earn as much money as possible, Chad, just being a corporate scumbag. But this whole scene is just filled with him getting up, sitting down, looking under couches and shit for things that Chucky stole. But his man's just like, you hear his knees crack, and it's like, Jesus Christ. It goes on for a while, but he's sitting down on the couch. He's enjoying a nice fucking beverage, checking the stock market and all that. Chucky, this is a very involved kill. Chucky positions his putter so then he can start practicing his putting, chat. And he starts putting, but then Chucky, he then grabs the remote control of the TV and turns it off and hides it. And so old man Haskell Sullivan has to get down his hands and knees and look for the remote. And he's like, I thought that was going to kill him. I thought he was going to fucking die looking for this remote. He's like, it's like it's like he's giving birth. He's trying to pass a kidney stone, Chad. But Chucky pushes the remote. It's very involved. Chucky pushes the remote to the TV, the TV remote to his hand. He's like, God, and he turns it back on, and he walks over to his putting machine. But then Chucky, he does the old marbles on the floor trick. He just dumps a huge fucking jar filled with marbles all over the floor. Haskell Sullivan, he's got derpy old man feet. He slips, just breaks his fucking back, and then Chucky activates this po-po, this police car mobile to try to hit him, but he fucking Haskell Sullivan. Apparently he can move a lot faster when he's on, on his back check. He goes, He lifts his head out of the way, but then all the toys start to activate and start like fucking attacking him. And then, then Chucky just reveals himself going, ah! And these guys like, holy shit, you're real. He's like, God damn right, I'm real. The Chuck is back, baby. And he's like, ah! And he's trying to get up. He's trying to get to the phone, but Chucky's like, nope, And he does get up at one point, but Chucky picks up this dart, throws it at him, gets him right in the spine, just messing up this old man's back even more. He fucking tumbles down. He then tries to, he moves very fast. Like, I don't know if he was in the military, but he drags himself over the phone, chat. Chucky throws another dart. Don't know how he hit him in the hand that was trying to dial, but he got him. Boom. Ah! This man's office, despite, well, you know what? I was saying, like, why does this old man have all these toys? You do see on his desk, like, pictures of his children or grandchildren. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then Chucky, he just grabs a jump rope and just starts strangling Sullivan Haskell, chat. Choking on the very toys he sold to children, chat, for money. Choking on his own money. And Chucky finally kills Sullivan Haskell, chat. And it's like, yes. Nothing like a strangling to get the juices flowing. Just like the good old days. Because as you know, chat, Chucky's Charles Lee Ray, the human version of Chucky, played, of course, by Brad Dourif, and he later does the voice, of course. He was called the Lakeshore Strangler, so his preferred method of killing was strangulation. But we don't often see Chucky strangle. It's funny, every time I did my odd video commentaries for these movies, I was like, he's called the Lakeshore Strangler, but he doesn't really strangle anyone. And then as soon as I say that, he strangles somebody. I'm like, I'm just going to shut up. I didn't even say it. Like, his first kill, I will give it to him. He strangles this old man, this poor, broken old man to death, Jack. But he fucking deserved it. He was a piece of shit. But he's like, all right, time to use the internet because it's 1998, but not really. And so he sits at the computer, and I guess it's not the internet, but he sits at the guy's computer, which, by the way, how the fuck does Charles Lee Ray know how to use a computer? Like, how does he know anything? Like, he's been dead. Technically, he hasn't really been, I guess... At one point, he interacted with a computer in Child's Play 2, but not really. But he's apparently, chap, he has the wherewithal and the knowledge to know how to get into a computer. And I guess PlayPals Co., they've kept tabs on Andy Barclay for years. And that's how Chucky gets the information about Andy and where he's going, Joe. Andy, he is now 16 years old. Might as well be a man, chap. Might as well be a man. And he's been going from foster care to foster care. And at this point, it's like it's just not working out. So they just sent him to the military academy, chat. Kent Military Academy, right? He rolls in on the bus, and it's not Alex Vincent. It's the actor does a fine job. Justin Whalen and actually, you know what? Justin Whalen does look like an adult version or a teenage version of Alex Vincent. I was like, oh wow, they really did a good job. Or at least when Alex Vincent looked the way he did when he was younger. I was like, this makes sense. This makes sense. I buy it. I do buy it, chap. But he rolls up, and then he goes to meet, I believe the individual's name is Colonel Cockring Sanders. She goes to meet Colonel Cockring Sanders, who's doing a little interview. She had a little intro, to the whole military academy. He's like, all right, now you tell me now, Andy, why are you here? And he's like, well, sir, I, went through the foster care system. And I couldn't really settle with a particular family. He's like, I can read, Mr. Barclay. For whatever reason, like Colonel Cockring Sanders in this movie, he asks Andy a question, and Andy answers him, and he's like, I already know that answer. Then why the fuck are you asking me a question to begin with if you already know the answer? If you can read, you know my file. The guy's just being an asshole, chap. Yes, his name is Cockring. Go look at the movie, chat. Look up the IMDb list, the character's name. Good old Colonel Cockring Sanders. And he's like, well, sir, I'm just, hoping that I can move on. And I don't know, maybe the military life will be the life for me. Is I hope it is, Mr. Barclay. Now, I'm going to go a little easy on you since you've had such a troubled history of your mom. Mom's still in the loony bin, by the way, still in a mental institution. Since your mom's not taking care of you, and since you never settled with a foster family, and we'll go easy on you, but I must declare that military training is hard. Are you ready for that kind of life, Andy Barclay? And he's like, sure. Okay, yeah, man. It's like, fantastic. Go and meet the hair fetish sergeant. And then he's like, excuse me? And then, chat, we then cut to the weirdest fucking character in the movie, which is saying something because it features a murderous doll who goes around and kills countless people. But this is by far the weirdest character in the movie. And I forget the actor's name. I think it's Andrew Robinson is the actor. He played Kirsty Cotton's dad in the original Hellraiser. Come to Daddy. That's him. He's a sergeant and a barber, and this guy gets off to cutting people's hair. I'm not even being over exaggerated at all. Like, they spent so much time, just production design, working on this guy's environment, because he's got like these he's got this wife beater on. And he's cutting all these, or, he's make this, he's cut the sleeves off of his shirt, and he's all about making people's hair as short as possible, chat. And he has pictures, hundreds, if not thousands of pictures of young boys and teenagers just pinned to the wall of his domain. It is fucking bizarre. I'm like, why is he like this? But anyway, that's the thing that defines him. He loves cutting people's hair. He's all about it. And we were introduced to this other character named Tyler, who has a big role in the movie. Little Tyler, who gets away with a lot of shit in this movie, and I don't know why. I'm like, I know he's young and shit, but it's like, clearly his father serves in some high position in the military or something like that. But he cuts little Tyler's hair. He's like, all right, get your butt over there, Tyler. You, fresh meat, come over here and pop a squat for Daddy. He's like, okay. And he sits Andy down, and it's like, Andy. And he's like, yes. Do you know why the ancient Romans, the soldiers, kept their hair so short? And he's like, no, it's so someone wouldn't be able to grab their hair from behind and slit their purty throats. And he's like, okay, sir. And then he just starts cutting his hair. It's like, oh, yeah, these luscious locks, they're going away now, Andy. It's like, okay. And he starts cutting the hair. Meanwhile, he has like a little TV right next to him, and what comes on the TV, chat? A commercial for the Good Guy doll, or for like the animated series, I suppose. Tyler, who is sitting, on the bench, he sees this, and it blows his little mind. It, like, literally in slow motion. He stands up and goes, wow! He can't believe it. And he's just like, he's having a fucking panic attack seeing this, remembering all the events of Child's Play 1 and 2, of course. Doesn't like it. Fucking the weird hair fetish sergeant, he finishes up. He's like, all right, now get out of here. Oh, wait, I need to take a picture he takes a picture of Andy and he puts it on his wall. It's like, why? It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre. Moving on from that, Andy then is escorted by Tyler to his room, and they kind of go back and forth, and they talk a little bit and everything. But he's escorted to his barracks, his little room, his dorm, basically. He gets in there. He's supposed to have a roommate. Doesn't see a roommate. But all of a sudden, Shane notices the closet. He keeps hearing this this banging coming from the closet. And he's like, that's kind of weird. He goes over, opens the door, and then a very young Woody Allen falls out. And he's like, oh, my God, what happened? And this guy's, his hands have been tied behind his back. His legs have been tied. He has, like, a fucking gag in his mouth. And he's like, what happened? He's like, it's those bastards. I don't know. They came in, and they tied me up. And I was like, why are you doing this? I'm just trying to do my best job in the military. I don't understand why they don't like me. This guy, he looks just like fucking a young Woody Allen. I think his name is oh God, what's his name? Whitehurst, Harold Whitehurst, chat. And he's very nerdy, and because he's nerdy, therefore you must be bullied by all the people in the movie. And he's like, who did this to? He's like, it was Sherman, our drill sergeant. He was bullying me. He's very rough on me. I'm his personal slave. That's what he says. It reminded me of my time, my people's time in Egypt. It was like ancient Hebrew. It was horrible. And he's like, oh shit, I'm sorry, man. Well, if there's anything I can do, let me know. I was like, of course. But now we got to go train outside with Sherman. And so we're introduced to good old Sherman. And Squirmin' Sherman, chat. And he's a hard ass. He's a bit of an asshole. And he's picking on certain people, and he takes particular interest in Andy, who's like, this is his first time doing like military type stuff and, you know, presenting and everything. And he's like, Andy Barclay, why don't you present yourself in a typical soldier fashion? Because I don't know. He's like, oh, you're being a smart ass. You think you're smart, don't you? And then this woman, because it's co-ed, chat. It's like a co-ed military academy. So they have, you know, male soldiers and female soldiers. And this one teenage girl, she goes, such an asshole. And he's like, what the hell did you just say to me, Kirsten De Silva? And she's like, I called you an asshole, sir. She salutes him. She's like, you think you're funny? You think you're funny now, huh? Well, you go ahead and drop and give me 25 push-ups. He's like, sir, yes, sir. And she does the fucking push-ups. And Sherman, he basically says, now listen, we have both men and women in this military academy. And I don't care what your sex is. I don't care what your gender is. If I tell you to do push-up, you're going to do push-up. That's how this works, okay? I was like, oh, it's kind of a progressive film, chat. It is Don Mancini. Pretty progressive in the horror industry, in my opinion. And right before De Silva is about to finish her push-up, he's like, use one arm. And she has to do the last 2 push-ups with one arm, chat. But she fucking nails it. And then she gets up and is like, ah. And she looks at Andy and gives a little wink. And he's like, oh, girl. And Andy starts getting funny feelings in his tum-tum, chat. He's like, ooh, a little awkward, chat. But Andy, he's a grown man now, right? He's a grown goddamn man. Eventually, though, we then cut from that, and Andy's doing some gun training. He's at the shooting range, chat. He ain't shooting shit. He didn't hit a single goddamn target. He's terrible at it, chat. You think years of fighting a murderous doll, he would have learned how to fire a gun? Clearly not. That did not happen. But De Silva, she's fucking great. She's hitting that fucking bullseye time and time again. And she's like, here, let me, because, you know, she sees he wasn't able to shoot anything. She goes over and she starts helping him. She's rubbing up on him and he's rubbing up on her. And the chemistry, it's there, chat. Ooh, you can just feel it between the two of them. And they're clearly interested in each other romantically, chat, sexually. Our little Andy, he ain't little anymore, chat, no doubt. Eventually, we cut from that. And little Tyler, he goes over to the mailroom because he's waiting for some letters from his dad, who is in the Air Force. Apparently a high-ranking member of the Air Force, because everyone, for whatever reason, lets Tyler do whatever the fuck he wants. He can wander off, he can steal shit, and there's like no repercussions for Tyler. It's very bizarre. But whoever in charge of the mailroom is, the Army mailman, he's like, sorry, Tyler, there's no letters from your dad. And he's like, oh man, but hey, you could do a thing for me, buddy. He's like, yeah, what is it? Could you give this to Andy Barclay? I know that you escorted him to his room today. And he's like, sure. And he takes the package, chat, but everyone's rude at this military academy because he's fucking waddling down the hall, and then these older teenagers just fucking start pushing him. Like, why are you doing that? He's carrying this package. The package is falling over. He's like, hey. And he picks up the package. And he goes up he's walking the stairs, and these guys just go, hey, get over the way, man. They just push him again. This causes the package to go, and just falls down the stairs, and part of it rips open. And he goes down there, Chad, and he sees the packaging, and he realizes, like, oh, it's a good guy doll. And Tyler, who is told this is a package for Andy Barclay, then proceeds to steal it. It's like, what? He takes it to, I guess, his secret place in the armory, chat, and opens it up, and what do you find inside, chat? A good guy doll. And then Chucky's like, what the fuck? Why do you keep dropping me? He's like, oh, and he bursts out. Ah! He's very mad. Although, to be honest, chat, I would be mad like Chucky if I kept getting dropped over and over and over again. And he's like, who the hell are you? You're not Andy. And it's like, hi, my name's Tyler. What's your name? And he's like, oh, shit. I got to go through this again. My name's Chucky. And then Chucky has a thought. He goes, wait a minute. This is a brand new body. Therefore, I haven't told anyone. This is the first person that's ever seen me that knows that I'm alive. And therefore, I don't have to just go for Andy's body. Because that's the thing. That's the reason why he's chasing Andy down. He wants, like, well, I'm the one who told Andy who I am, and I got to put my soul inside of him. That's how it works. The thing is that's confusing. It also kind of contradicts Child's Play too, because the first person that he told who he was Madison, who he killed in Child's Play 2. And so you did that, unless he just fucking realizes, like, oh, shit. And that also brings into context why, possibly, because, Chucky's on a timetable. You can only spend so much time inside of the doll's body before it becomes human, and then the whole, the incantation, the fucking nothing from the Neverending Story won't come in there to help him put his soul into another human body, right? Dembala and all that shit. And he's like, oh yeah, I guess I gotta do that with this new kid. But then it wouldn't have worked in the previous film then, because you revealed yourself to Madison, and yeah, it was inevitable you weren't able to put yourself into Andy's body. Just something that just popped up in my head while I was watching these movies. I'm like, now wait a minute. Also, how the fuck did Chucky put himself in the box, wrap himself, and then mail himself to the military academy? Also very confusing. The thing is, how long was the transit period? Because as we know, it's like 2 days, 48 hours, maybe 72, maybe 3 days max. Chucky's got to get out of the body. So I'm like, how did you put yourself through like 1 day shipping, 2 day shipping? You got to be able to put your soul into another body like tonight. Again, there's a few. I mean, I know it's a movie about a man who put his fucking soul inside of a doll that comes to life and kills people. I know, but there's a few plot holes in this movie. He got that Amazon Prime shipping. He must have that 2 day shipping channel, or even that 1 day if you pay a little extra. So yeah, I guess Chucky had a subscription to Amazon Prime and got that very fast 1 day or maybe 2 day shipping. But anyway, he's like, oh shit. Oh well, in this case, I can go ahead and put my soul in this kid's body. He's like, oh well, yeah, my name's Chucky, but you can also call me Charles Lee Ray. But I'm really Charles Lee Ray. The kid's like, cool, that's awesome. And so he's like, hey, do you want to play a game? He's like, yeah. And he's like, hey, let's play. And he's like about to finish, like, let's play this game. He's like, well, you want to play hide and seek? He's like, oh, we'll play something like hide and seek. It's called Hide the Soul. And he's like, that sounds stupid. And he's like, well, you're fucking. Hey, let's play my game first, and we'll play your game, buddy. He's like, okay. And so he lays down. And then he starts doing them, Dembala, give me the power, I beg of you. And then the fucking nothing from the Neverending Story shows. It's like, Chucky, it's been a while. It's been 8 years. You're going to try this again? Okay, let's go for it, man. But he's saying the fucking incantation, the voodoo ritual. But then all of a sudden, Colonel Cochran Sanders, chap, and some other guy, I guess it's the mass sergeant for the armory. They come in. I guess they're doing inventory or something. And Chucky's like, fuck, he has to stop the ritual. And as they're doing inventory, they find Tyler there of Chucky. And Colonel Sanders is like, what the hell are you doing with that doll there, boy? Dolls are for little girls. You're not a little girl, are you? He goes, but this is my friend, Charles. And he's like, I don't care what this is. I'm throwing this out. Little boys don't play with dolls. And he leaves. He fucking smacks Chucky in the head as he gets out the door. Hits on the fucking door frame. Eventually, we then cut. And we see Andy. He's practicing stuff with his rifle outside of a whole bunch of the other students, all the other cadets of the military academy. And he's not good at it, using the rifle and things. He's kind of awkward. And they tell him to, like, get out of the fucking formation and look and watch people so you can get it. And so he starts trying to do it, Chad. He's doing it. But then Sherman, he comes over. He's like, Andy, why do you suck using that? He's like, I'm sorry, I don't have that much experience with guns. And he's like, that's not a gun, Barclay. And he talks to his buddy, Billy Bob. Billy Bob, get your ass over here and tell Andy what this is. And he's like, this is my rifle. This is my gun. And just grabs his dick. And it's like, this is for this is for warfare, and this is for fun. This is for shooting, and this is for fun. Just grabbing his own dick. I was like, oh, wow, okay. And he's like, fair enough. And so he starts to get it, and then he also, De Silva's in the class too, and she's like trying to show him how to do it and thing. He's like, oh, okay, I got it. They chat. They're bonding. They're bonding. There's chemistry between the two of them. But As he's doing that, he looks over and he sees Colonel Cockring Sanders walking across the yard with the Chucky doll just staring at him. He's like, wait a minute. And he stares back and Chucky stares back. Like, please insert the meme of Rob McElhenney and Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia just staring at each other from across the room. It's the same exact thing for Child's Play 3 as these two just stare at each other. And he's like, this motherfucker found me again. 8 years later. And they yell at Andy, and they're like, Andy, why do you drunk? He drops his rifle because he's fucking having a panic attack. And they're like, why? He's like, I just saw something. He's like, I don't care what you saw. You got to learn to use your rifle, or you won't be able to use your gun for fun later. And he like looks at De Silva, and De Silva's like, ooh. Well, she would want to have Andy use his gun, chat. Eventually, we move away from the rifle training, and Colonel Cockring Sanders throws Chucky into this giant dumpster that this garbage man is now dumping into his garbage truck, chat. Chucky freaks the fuck out. He's like, wait, ah! He falls in, and he starts screaming and begging to help me, sir, excuse me, sir, can you help me? And the garbage man hears this and goes, oh my God, someone's in the garbage truck. And is this because someone mentioned earlier that was this the nasty kill that people don't like in the movie? Because the thing is, the garbage man he climbs into the garbage truck and looks for Chucky, trying to find him. Like, he tries to save him. Now, he doesn't know that, it's a murderous doll, but he tries to save him. And then Chucky, unnecessarily, it's like, oh, come on, Chucky, he was trying to save you. He then goes to the front of the garbage truck, activates one of the levers, causing it to close, chat. And then, by the way, is there like a giant spiked cylinder of death in garbage trucks, chat? I don't know. I've never looked inside of a garbage truck, so I have no idea. But there's this giant, like, rolling pin cylinder of huge spikes on it that's, like, coming towards the guy. While the door of the garbage truck is closed, he's like, no, help me. Oh, and he sticks his hand out, and the thing chops his arm off. He's like, ah, and he's smushed. And Chucky's like, out with the trash. And I was like, dude, why? It was unnecessary. It went a little too far, Charles. All the boys on the yard, they all hear this. All the boys and girls doing their rifle training, gun training, chat. They hear the screaming of the garbage man. They go over there, and somehow they just knew that how to operate a garbage truck. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, Sherman knows how to operate a garbage truck for some reason. They open it up, and they find the garbage man's arm cut off and his horribly mangled, meaty body, chat. It's like, Jesus Christ. That was a little rough. Later that evening, we have Woody Allen and Andy. They're just kind of hanging out with each other. Woody Allen's trying to shine the shoes of Sherman. I have to make sure that I can see my reflection in him, or he'll beat me up. And so he does that, and he goes and gets a shower. Meanwhile, Chucky has somehow been able to sneak into Andy's room. This room is so fucking small, chat. I'm like, it's a dorm. It's like, it's a one-room dorm. And like, how is Chucky able to move around so quickly? Because at one point we see that he has put himself into Andy's, one of his clothing trunks. And he's like, he's got like a little knife. And then Andy opens it, Chucky's gone. And then, Chucky's grabbing some other shit. And eventually, Andy turns around, Chucky's like, ah! And Andy's like, oh, that's the thing too. Andy sits down, that's what it is. Chucky's underneath the bed, and he slices his Achilles heel, I guess. Which doesn't cause it to bleed at all. I'm very confused. But he slices his Achilles heel. He fucking freaks out. He's like, how are you alive? We killed you. He's like, I'm back and better than ever. Model 3.0. And I'm here for you, Andy. And it's like, you can't kill me. You need to put your soul in my body. It's like, I went ahead and I told someone else my secret. And he's like, Tyler? And he goes, yeah, Tyler. And then Chucky goes, Chucky's gonna be a bro. Because Tyler's black. And it's like, oh my God. Okay. And it's like, I'll never let you do it. And it's like, how are you gonna stop me? And he's like, I'm literally an adult now. And Chucky's like, oh shit. And he just grabs him and starts beating the shit out of Chucky. He's like, wait a minute. Like, oh my God. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. He's a fucking doll. Like, the thing that Chucky is able to do what he does because the element of surprise. But then you realize, like, oh, he's a fucking doll. And Andy is a teenager, a very hormonal, angry teenager who just wants to work out all of his resentment towards something. It's like, oh, Chucky, you're in the fucking path of the storm. And he grabs Chucky and starts beating the shit out of him. And Chucky's like, wait, Andy, wait. He starts begging him not. I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. Eventually, though, Sherman, the German, he walks in and goes, Dufresne, you playing? Not Dufresne, Andy Dufresne. Andy, Barclay, you playing with dolls now? He goes, no, it's you don't understand. He's like, you know what, this kind of doll, this is mine now. This is my property. And it's like, that's stealing. He's like, I don't care. I make the rules here, Barclay. This will be perfect for my kid sister. Bye-bye. And he, like, waves using Chucky's hand. He leaves. And Andy's like, fuck, I need to get the doll back. And so later that evening, Andy sneaks into Sherman's room chat looking for it, can't find it, but he notices, because, Sherman's like, the ideal, quote-unquote, soldier. He has all his weapons, and he has this one shelf filled with rifles and guns and knives, and there's noticeably one very large knife missing, and Andy's like, shit. And he's looking around, can't find it, and Chucky is right behind him. He goes, hey, Andy. He goes, oh! And he freaks out, flings himself on Sherman's bed. And Sherman's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, boy? What are you trying to... Are you trying to do the dirty deed with me while I'm asleep? He's like, no. And he grabs him, and they're looking, because he's looking for the doll. He's like, where's the doll, Barclay? Where's the doll? And everyone comes in. It's like, what are you guys doing? It's like, don't you never mind. Everyone out. And so they force everyone in the fucking barracks or whatever to perform these mandatory, exercises. Basically, you got to suss out the thief, chat, and to make everyone hate Andy Barclay. That's what happens. Eventually, Colonel Cockring Sanders, he comes out and goes, what are you doing this for now? Sherman's like, sir, I'm trying to weed out a thief. And he's like, all right, I understand. Do as you were doing. However, I want everyone in bed by 0100. I think it's 1 a.m. I think it's 1 a.m. chat. Anyway, they go inside. Everyone's just being super fucking mean to Andy right now. Just like pushing him and shit. And he's like, God damn it, my life's horrible. He really has had a horrible fucking life when you think about it, chat. Like Woody Allen is like, Andy, why do we have to do this right now? What's going on? I don't understand. I need my sleep. I need my 8 hours. And he's like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. He's like, you could just try me or something. And he's like, a killer doll is actually alive, and he's been trying to kill me for like my entire life. And he's like, you're right. I shouldn't have asked. Later on, Andy tries to escape. Like, he gets out of the formation, and he's, like, going down this dark alleyway. And for whatever reason, Sherman's there. I'm like, Sherman, why? Were you waiting for this moment because you knew Andy or one of the cadets was going to sneak off down this particular alleyway? And he's just there, and he grabs it like, you ain't going anywhere, Andy Barclay. Get back in formation. And so they get back in formation. Eventually, though, Chucky, he does, he's trying to look for Tyler at this point. He goes to Tyler's room, but he sees that there's a note on the bed, and it says, Dear Chucky, let's play hide and seek. You're it. Your best friend, Tyler. He's like, God damn it. And so he has to find out where Tyler is in the entire military complex. And he's walking around. He's like, Tyler, God fucking damn it, Tyler. And Tyler's like, you're it, Chucky. Come and find me. And Chucky's like, fuck. He's just like, oh, God damn it. Because he's got little legs, Chad. It's hard for him to chase after him. Eventually, Tyler, he hides in the office closet of Colonel Cockring Sanders, chat. And eventually, Chucky finds him and opens the door. And, it's like, oh, shit, what's going to happen next? We then cut and we see Kristen Da Silva and one of her friends. They, too, are up at night. And they're sneaking into Colonel Cockring Sanders's office because she has the hots for Andy and she wants to learn more about him, Chad. She knows if I look at his file, I'll learn all the details I want. And so she goes in there, she starts reading the file, and right before she's about to get to because that's the thing, like her friends teasing, like, oh, you like him, don't you? And she's like, have you seen those big brown eyes? He has a doe's eyes. He's so cute. And so right as she's like reading his file, and she finds out about his tragic past and his mom being in a mental institution and him going from foster care to foster care, she's like, oh, that's why he's so quiet. Oh. And right before she's about to read all the shit about Chucky, they hear something in the closet. They go over to the closet. And they open it up, and like Tyler's talking to the Chucky doll, and they're like, "Tyler, what are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, it's just playing with my friend Charles." And they're like, "Oh my, is that one of those good guy dolls? I remember those." And so, De Silva, she picks up that's the thing. No, her friend picks up the doll and starts dancing with it and shit and slamming it into stuff. And De Silva's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I know what we need to do with this." And she takes the doll and she puts it on Colonel Cochrane Sanders' desk, and she takes off some lipstick and starts, putting lipstick on Chucky's lips. And Charlie's like, no, don't do that. You're making him look like a sissy. No. And eventually they hear something, someone moving outside. They hear footsteps. They're like, oh shit, we gotta go. And they just fucking throw Chucky. They fucking throw him. They throw him, and they run away. They knock over a whole bunch of shit on Colonel Cochrane's desk. But then Chucky, he gets up and goes, what the fuck? He's trying to get the lipstick out of his mouth. Eventually, Colonel Cochrane Sanders, he enters into his office and notices things are indeed askew. Chat, they are very askew. And he goes over to his desk and he notices his favorite pencil cup is knocked down. And he's like, I do declare that someone knocked down my favorite pencil cup and they shall pay. But he puts the pencils back. He looks over his desk and he notices the Chucky doll right there. He's like, what the hell? And he goes over there and he picks it up and he lifts it up to his face and it goes, hi, my name's Chucky. What's your name? He goes, duh. And he gets a little spooked. He's like, and he fucking just throws it into his garbage bin. And he walks away, but then he hears the garbage bin fall, and he looks behind him. He's like, where the hell did it go? And then Chucky just bursts out and just goes, bah! And he's like, and then Chucky's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Fucking Colonel Cochrane Sanders, chat, is having a massive heart attack. He's like, I can't believe it. I don't even have to do anything. And Colonel Cochrane Sanders, I mean, the thing is, this is a large man, so I'm not surprised. This heart attack was coming for quite some time. But he's like, ugh. And he falls back in this big old glass diorama film of his own little military figurines and just dead. Just dead, chat. And then we get to a really funny line. Sherman's weird to me because Sherman, because they roll out the dead body. They call the paramedics. He's fucking dead, but they roll him out, put him in the bag and everything. And then Sherman's like, that man served 2 tours in Vietnam, and then he just dropped dead. It don't make no sense. He looks like to be about, not shaming the actor, but he looks to be about 300 pounds. Clearly elderly, and it looks like he's pumping KFC gravy through his veins. So I'm like, I don't think it's unbelievable that he would die from a heart attack, Jay. I'm like, no, wait a minute. It's like, no, of all the things that has happened in this movie, that's the one I'm like, no, that was bound to happen. Whether Chucky was there or not, it was going to happen. If something would have scared him just a little bit more, and then boom, same fucking result. Anyway, that's the death of Colonel Cochrane Sanders, chat. We have a very awkward breakfast where they're like, we all love Colonel Cochrane Sanders. We loved him and his herbs and spices and his mashed potatoes and his sweet corn and his coleslaw. I wasn't a fan of his coleslaw. Shut up. You liked his coleslaw and, of course, his crispy, savory salted chicken and his illustrious military career. Everyone start eating, and they all start eating KFC. In breakfast time, which you think, that doesn't sound too bad. It's like, you don't want it. You want to start your day eating KFC. You're going to get mixed KFC on an empty stomach with coffee, chat. Bubbly gut season is coming for you very soon. But Andy, he's like, all right, I gotta go ahead and talk to Tom. But before we do that, we have another creepy fucking scene with the sergeant, with the barber who fetishizes hair. He's just going to each and every single table and is just touching everyone's hair. He's like grabbing, he's like, you're gonna have to come and see me on a Tuesday. That hair's getting too long. ooh, it's Shaggy Monday for you. And then he gets to Woody Allen. He's like, Woody Allen, you are the worst soldier I've ever seen. Your hair is shaggier than anything else. He's like, I'm sorry. My hair, it grows very quickly. I don't know what to say. And he's like, meet me this afternoon. He's like, okay, I'll be there. And he's like, and he goes like, soon, Barclay, soon. It's like, okay. Andy, he gets up because, but the thing is, Woody Allen's like, Andy, you're not supposed to get up. We have to eat our food, our KFC. But he gets up, and then some fucking asshole trips him. And he falls and crushes, like, all his food gets all over his, like, shirt. He's like, fuck. And then, the people at the head table are like, all right, everyone, quiet down, fall in. And he goes and he talks to Tyler. But again, this is weird. Tyler, who's playing, like, this huge fucking handheld video game. Well, no one else is. Why does Tyler get all the special fucking privileges? Why does he get to play this big fucking video game when everyone's eating, when everyone has to eat? I don't understand. This kid's dad must be high ranking, and they let him get away with everything in the movie. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. But, Peculiar Wallme, thank you for subscribing. Welcome back to the stream. 13 months of incredible support. Hope you're doing well. But he sits back down. No, he goes over to Tyler, sits next to me. Hey, buddy, Tyler, listen, I know that you've recently encountered someone named Chucky. I like to call him Charles. Charles Lee Ray, the serial killer. Yeah, whatever. Listen, where is he? I just want to make sure that you're not interacting with him anymore. He's very dangerous. Like, Charles is my friend. We play all sorts of fun games, like hide and seek, and where's the soul, and hide the soul. And he's like, don't play where's the soul or hide the soul. That's not a good game. Listen, he's very bad. He's very mean. He hurts people. He's like, you're just jealous because he's not your best friend anymore. He told me about you. He said you're really bad and mean. And he's like, no, you idiot. But first of all, I would have said, like, he was mailed to me. That's my fucking property. I mean, he's a little fucking thief. Anyway. And he's like, I don't want you to be near me anymore, Andy. You're mean. And he's like, well, listen, take this knife, okay, and use it in case you need to. He goes, And so Andy, he eventually leaves. Eventually after that, we then go to Woody Allen, who's getting his hair cut by the weird Sergeant Barber hair fetish guy. And he's like, ooh, you're a pathetic soldier, but you have a nice scalp. And I'm like, stop rubbing on these kids' head, you weirdo. And, he keeps teasing Woody Allen, saying he's a terrible soldier. And Woody Allen's like, I would love to just leave. I don't want to be here any more than you want me here. And he goes, you little smart ass, get going. And then he eventually leaves. And then he takes a fucking picture and he puts it up there. He puts it up. I know. It's like, listen, it ain't me. It's the movie itself. But he puts up the picture there and there's no doubt he jacks off to all these pictures. There's no question. It's like, why is this guy allowed to work here? It's weird. But he's getting some hair supplies, and I guess Chucky just needed a place to stay for a while because he falls out of the cabinet, and the guy's like, ooh, you have way too much hair on that head, too much ginger hair. And he puts Chucky in the barber seat. And he comes in with his little electric razor. He's like, we're going to take a little off the top. And as he's like getting closer to Chucky, which I'm sure just has his dick in his other hand, just furiously jerking off. But as he's getting close, Chucky's like, Jesus Christ. It's like, I thought I was scary. He pulls out the guy's straight razor and goes, Fah! And he slashes him across the throat, it slits his throat. And after all that talk about, grabbing someone's hair and slitting in their throat, that's what they did. Well, look at you, sir. You got your fucking throat slashed and slit. And the guy, he fucking falls over and blah, 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 and he dies. And he falls back in the chair, and Chucky's like, that was fun. And then eventually, Woody Allen, he runs back down. He's like, I'm sorry, I forgot to get my books. And he sees Chucky, and he's like, oh my God, Andy was right. And Chucky goes, boo. And he's like, and he runs away. At that point, I'm like, I'm going to run away. I'm going to tell everyone, first of all, that the fucking weird hair fetish barber sergeant is dead. He doesn't say that at all. It doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. Why don't you just say that, hey, this guy died? Nope. But he runs outside where apparently they're doing this this war games thing where it's red versus blue, and it's like basically it's like it's a faux war. It's like a faux battle, if you will. And you have one side, which is all these people with these blue armbands, and these other side with these red armbands, and they both have various tasks, and they got to fight and see who wins. That's kind of what it is. And that's what's being explained. The Woody Allen, he gets back in the formation. Clearly, he's very distraught, and, you have De Silva. She's like, are you okay? He's like, don't worry about me. I'm fine. And Andy, he notices that he's really freaked out. He's like, oh, I see what's going on here. He saw Chucky, obviously. Chucky is also observing the talk and the explanation of the whole War Games thing. And so for each side, they each get a rifle. One has blue paint and the other one has red paint, chat. And so that's what it is. And Chucky's like, well, fuck that. I'm going to switch out the paintballs with live ammunition just to see the sparks fly, chat. And eventually, they all start marching out, and they go their separate ways. But Andy, he asks, Woody Allen. He said, Woody, did you see Chucky? He's like, I didn't see anything. I just saw something I just can't discuss. It makes me very nervous and uncomfortable. And he's like, you saw Chucky. Just tell me that you saw him. It's like, okay, I saw him, but, I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to make it weird or awkward for anyone. He's like, Jesus Christ. So they keep running. They keep walking. They split up. And eventually they make camp. And we get a nice little spooky story time with De Silva, chat. She's talking about this story where everyone's like around this fire, and it's like the spooky story about this girlfriend or this woman, the babysitter. She heard this constant thump upstairs, thump, thump. And she realized, the children upstairs. And she runs up the stairs, and what she saw was the dismembered body of her boyfriend. But he was still alive, and he was dragging himself with his own chin. Thump, thump. Everyone's like, Jesus, and Andy hears this like, I have had enough trauma throughout my life. I don't need to hear any of these spooky stories. And so he walks away, and De Silva's sad because she thought Andy would like her story. And so she goes over to Andy, and she's like, hey. He's like, oh, hi. And she's like, do you like my story? He's like, sorry, I don't know. I've had a lot of scary things happen to me. I don't really want to hear more stories. She's like, I understand. Do you want to see something cool? And he's like, sure. And so they go over to this ridge, and they look out, and apparently Kirsten De Silva, she loves carnivals. He's like, look at the carnival. It's like the greatest thing ever. And he's like, I guess. It's a pretty view. He's like, it's a very pretty view. And she goes, you know what else is pretty? And he goes, you? She goes, right answer, lover. And they start making out, Chad. They start just sucking face. And Chucky, he's watching this. He's been watching them the entire time. He's like, you know what? I'm going to kill you. But good for you, Andy. Good for you. I got to get out of this body. He's horny, Chad. He's very horny. After that, they get back to camp, and Andy's like, I got to go after Tyler because Chucky's going to go for Tyler because he's going to try to put his soul in Tyler's body. And so he steals the map that his division is using to, track the certain locations and where all those dirty fucking Reds are. And he basically tells Woody Allen, listen, tell them I went AWOL or whatever, man. I got to find Tyler. He's like, okay, I'll do what I can. And so eventually, he leaves, and he goes looking for Tyler. Eventually, his own Sherman and all of his compatriots, they find out that Andy went AWOL and he left, and they're like, oh, he must be working for those goddamn dirty Reds. We gotta go after him. And he splits up his people. He tells De Silva, you go by yourself and walk into the woods to try to find Andy, okay? And take this walkie-talkie with you. She's like, well, that's a very specific and weird instructions, but sure, I will walk into the woods by myself alone. Sounds good, sir. And so she does that. Eventually, Andy makes it to the dirty Red camp, and Tyler's not there. Like, he talks to his little friend, and he's like, what happened to he said he went AWOL with his friend Charles, and Andy's like, fuck. And so he goes out in the woods looking for Tyler. Eventually, we see Tyler with Chucky, and Chucky spots Andy. He goes, oh, Tyler, hide from me, buddy. Hide from me. There's that mean Andy. He goes, oh, no. And so they hide, and Andy passes by. He's like, that was a close one, Charles. And Chucky's like, listen, I know I told you my name is Charles Lee Ray, but just call me Chucky, okay? It's branding, man. It's fucking branding. It's like, you don't need to yell and cuss at me, Charles. Or Chucky's like, oh, you little shit, listen to me. okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's okay. I'm your buddy. I'm your good guy. I'm your friend to the end. Listen, we're gonna play the game again. We're gonna play Hide the Soul. I don't really like that game, Chucky. It's boring. I don't give a fuck what you like or don't like. We're gonna do it. He's like, oh, Andy was right. You are mean. He's like, oh, we gotta do this our way. He pulls out this fucking knife. And it's like, get down the goddamn ground. But then Tyler, he pulls out the knife that Andy gave him, goes, and he stabs Chucky. Chucky's like, ah! And then Tyler runs away with the knife in hand. And Chucky's like, shit. He's turning human, Chad. He's bleeding now. He's like, oh, god damn it. Eventually, we cut back to Andy. He's still walking in the woods and everything. Like, oh, shit, where are you, Chucky? But then, his team, the blue team, they find him and they get him in a headlock. And Sherman's like, you're going to pay for this, Andy. You're going to pay for working for them goddamn dirty Reds. Colonel Cochran would be ashamed of you. And, we also have Tyler. He runs back. He's like, help me, help me, help me. Chucky's gonna kill me. And they grab him. He's like, looks like we got ourselves a red here, everybody. Woo-wee. And they try to call into Da Silva, but Da Silva, she's walking in the woods, Chad. Chucky goes, bah! And he tackles her, Chad. He knocks her out, and he's kidnapped her. He's kidnapped her, and he's holding her hostage. And so they contact her, and or they try to contact her, no response. But then Chucky, he calls them. And he's like, put Andy Barclay on the goddamn radio. And they're like, well, this is Sherman the German. I'm the one you got to talk with, sir. And it's like, I don't give a fuck about you, Sherman. God damn it, put Andy on the goddamn call. And he's like, all right. And he gives it, and he's like, what, where are you, Chucky? We have Tyler. And he's like, yeah, but I got your girl that you've been screwing. Come to me at this location. It's near this old Jeep. They know where it is. And we're going to do a little prisoner exchange. Your girl for Tyler. And he's like, fuck. And Sherman's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Who is this Charles, Andy? He's like, he's a very dangerous person. It's like, is he part of the red team? And he's like, sure, Sherman, he's part of the red team. Oh, them dirty Reds. And so they go to the location. And, Chucky gave specific instructions. Only Andy and Tyler would approach. And he's like, listen, Sherman, you don't understand. This guy he's very dangerous. He's like, it's just a game, Barclay. That's all it is. It's just nothing but paint. And so thinking that it'll be the paintballs, right? He doesn't know about the switched ammo, chat. And also at the same time, Chucky, before they get there, he calls the red team, letting them know where the blues, the dirty fucking blues, are going to be, chat. So literally, chat, we get red versus blue before Halo even existed. Incredible. So eventually, Andy and Tyler, they approach the Jeep where Chucky is holding a grenade. And says, all right, we're going to do the exchange. And they do it where, Da Silva, she goes to Andy, Tyler, he goes to Chucky, and he's like, you're not going to fucking get away with this, Chucky. He's like, oh, yeah, or we're just going to have to watch the fireworks. Andy's like, what fireworks? Because then the blue team arrives. But eventually, Sherman, he's impatient, so he goes over with his entire squad of people, dozens of people. They walk over, and Chucky's like, how's it hanging, bud? And Sherman's like, can that doll talk? They're like, yes, Sherman, yes. And then the blue team, the red team, they see Sherman the German. They're like, open fire. And they all fire their guns, but they think they just have paintballs, shit, but they don't. They have live ammunition. And then Sherman the German just gets lit up. He just dies, shit, just filled with bullets, and he falls over. And Sherman the German's his best friend's like, he's not breathing. He's not breathing. Everyone just ignores that there's a living murderous doll there, Then they all start blaming Andy. Andy, this is your fault. You're the reason why this doll's here. And so his friend, starts choking fucking Andy to death. He's like, it's not me. It's not me. Da Silva, they get him off of. Da Silva gets that guy off of him. They're all trying to make sense of what's going on. Everyone's fucking crying because they're murdering each other. It's like, holy shit, in this crossfire. Chucky's like, well, gotta get out of here. And he throws the live grenade, like in the middle of everyone. But only Woody Allen sees. He's like, oh my God, I haven't really had anything to do in this movie except be nerdy. But now I can perform the self-sacrifice. No! And he jumps on the grenade and boom, he fucking explodes. And he's dead. And it's like, oh my God, that was rough. And then this one random girl, actually, Andy, he's like, no, Woody Allen, my friend, I suppose. Oh, it's so sad. And DeSilva's sad, but it's like, we got to go after Chucky and Tyler. We got to save them before he puts his soul into the little boy. And so they take off. And then this random girl just starts crying over the dead body of Woody Allen, which I'm like, oh, I mean, did they have a relationship? Was that cut from the movie? I don't know. Anyway, we cut from that. Tyler, he's running away from Chucky, and he goes into the carnival, right? And he goes to the security tent where the security guard is, and he's like, excuse me, sir, excuse me, Charles is trying to kill me. He's like, what are you talking about, little boy? He's like, this guy named Charles, he's trying to hurt me. He's like, oh, are you part of the military school? And he goes, yeah. And he does those other things. My name is Tyler, stuff. And he's like, cool. Well, here, you just sit here. Like, listen. I know, doing those kind of, me doing the military tactics tonight, that war games out there, I know that could be kind of rough and scary. But listen, I'm your friend, Charles. I'm sure he's not really supposed to hurt you or anything like that. Don't worry about it. I'm sure Charles feels really bad about having to play the war games too. Hey, you know what I know will cheer you up? Here, I found this outside. And he fucking Chucky, he's like, ah! It's like, he's a good guy until he's like, oh no! And then we cut. And then we cut to Andy and DeSilva. They run to the carnival. And DeSilva's like, I love carnivals. Yeah, and he's like, I know, honey, I know. And so they run into, there's like, oh, maybe they're in the security tent. They go to the security tent, security guard, fucking dead. Fucking dead, Chad. Shot in the head. And they're like, well, we got to find him. But before they leave, very smart on DeSilva's part, she grabs the security guard's gun and says, but we need this to fight him. And they run out of the tent. They spot Chucky and Tyler go into this very elaborate, huge, I guess, scare house ride. I'm like, this is like pretty elaborate and expensive for like a carnival. I'm like, I don't think so. But anyway, they run in there, and Tyler, that's the thing. That's what happens. Chucky's like, all right, sit me down right here, right in the path of one of the oncoming cars. And the car comes, and Chucky's like, what the fuck? Like, no one understands that this is a track and that you have these cars moving throughout this ride. Like, no one understands this for whatever reason. Not Chucky, not Tyler, not DeSilva, and not Andy. Like, no one gets these cars are gonna, like, don't sit next to the rails. Sit away from them. Go to the corner of the fucking ride. Why are you always like, no, right in the middle of the rail track. Yep, that's where you want to be. And so this car, Chucky's like, oh shit, he flips over. Tyler, he takes off running, Chad, but Chucky eventually corners him. He's like, I got you little shit. But right before he's about to do that, Chad, Andy and DeSilva, they come in and they start exchanging gunfire with Chucky. But the thing is, Chucky shoots DeSilva in the leg. She's like, ah! And, she kills over. Andy, he has to make like a tourniquet at that point. He has to stop the bleeding. And she's like, Andy, I'm useless to you. My leg, I've been shot. And he's like, I know. Take the gun. You must defeat Chucky. You must end this child's play. They don't say that, but I wish they did. I fucking wish they did. You must end the child's play once and for all. And so he takes off running. Eventually, Tyler, now this whole sequence is just Tyler not understanding that he is on a railway track because he's literally like walking over it and, oh no, a car comes. What am I doing? I don't know. And he has to like get flat on the ground and it goes over him and he still continues down the railway track. It's like, stop it. You don't need to do that. But anyway, at this point, he's very scared and he sees this large gargoyle kind of animatronic. Oh no, not yet. What he sees this other large animatronic, this thing with a giant scythe. And he's like, oh, I gotta avoid that. Make sure I don't get sliced and diced. And as he's walking, Chucky goes, ah! And he pops up. He's like, you're not going anywhere, kid. What the hell is that? And the giant fucking scythe comes down, just slices half his face off. Ah! Ah! He's like, I told you so. And he runs off. And that's when he gets on this kind of gargoyle animatronic. And it flies up into the air. And we see underneath him, Chucky's managed to grab onto the thing's talons. And his little legs are just so furiously kicking. Just like, oh. Anytime they cut to a far shot, you see those little legs doing that. Because Andy sees, he's like, what the hell is that sound? It sounds like denim just being rubbed against, denim. And he sees Chucky's little legs. He's like, that makes sense. And so eventually Tyler, he jumps off on top of this mountain of skulls, this kind of styrofoam skull mountain thing. And he spots and he goes, Andy, I'm up here. He's like, Chucky's right behind you. He goes, huh? And bonk, fucking Chucky concusses him with his gun. And he's like, all right, fucking half my face is gone. I'm going to summon Damballa. And he starts doing the whole thing, Damballa, give me the power, I beg of you. And then the Nothing from the Neverending Story shows up. Oh, we're doing this again, huh, Charles? Okay. And so he starts doing it. And Andy, he climbs the styrofoam mountain, but he knows he's not going to be able to get there in time. So he takes out the gun, tries to shoot Chuck. He's missing. He just remembers what Kristen De Silva taught him, Chad. And he's remembered all the good memories of them sucking face and them rubbing up on each other. He's like, this is what I need. And then, boom, he shoots Chucky's arm off. He's like, ah! He's like, you! And then he shoots Chucky again, like at one part of his chest. He flings off. And he climbs up. He's like, Tyler, wake up. Wake up. He's like, oh, thank you, Andy. You saved me. He goes, I know. But then Chucky immediately jumps on Andy's back, and it's like, it's fucking over, Andy. That kid is mine, and then I'm going to do what I should have done to you all those years ago. Kill you. And Tyler's holding on for dear life. He's almost slipping off the mountain. And he's like, here, Andy, take the knife. He has the knife that Andy gave him. And then Andy, he grabs the knife. And because, Chucky's trying to like scratch Andy's throat out, but he takes it and and he flicks it, cutting Chucky's other hand off. And he then flips Chucky. And Chucky's like, ah! Into this giant industrial. Why does this ride? This ride is huge. This giant industrial fan with these super sharp spinning fan blades, Chad. He goes in there and just torn to pieces. I mean, it's like you put fucking Chucky through one of those meat slices at the deli. It's like, oh my God. And he's just torn apart, Chad. Dead forever, I'm sure. After that, Andy makes sure he's certain that Tyler's okay. And then he's immediately arrested because he's been blamed for everything that's happening. And De Silva's like, I'll wait for you. He's like, okay. And the police just drive away with him in the back of the car, chat. And then the carnival lights, they start to shut off one by one until blackness, the end. And that, my friends, is my scene by scene breakdown for Child's Play 3. It's actually a really dark ending because I'm like, you assume it's like, is Andy blamed for all the deaths? Is he blamed for this? I don't know. It's interesting to think about. So what's cool, again, in case you just came in during the review, the next entry in the franchise was Bride of Chucky. Now, Bride of Chucky, that wasn't made until like 98, so 7 years later. But in terms of the timeline, technically, in Child's Play 3, it is the year 1998. And Bride of Chucky, which I'm like, I didn't know this, takes place only a month after the events of Child's Play 3, where Tiffany gets all of the Chucky pieces from the police lockup and puts them back together. I was like, I didn't know that. I was like, oh, fucking shit. I thought that was kind of cool. I just read about that today. I don't know how many. I guess for Seed of Chucky, it's however many years after that. What, a decade? When did Seed of Chucky come out? 2008, 9? Maybe it was early. I forget. Any case, I thought that was kind of cool. Somehow she put them back together, Chad, and the franchise continued. But the thing is, Bride of Chucky is looked upon pretty kindly. I think it's better than Child's Play 3. Again, I don't think Child's Play 3 is bad. It's just kind of going through the motions. It's not really adding anything new. It's like, okay, I like that you aged Andy up. You put him in those kind of more adult situations. I would have liked even more of that personally. But what it comes down to is that Chucky himself, they don't really do anything new with him, and I feel like they needed to do that. I think the whole idea, they really should have leaned into like, oh, now there's multiple Chuckies. And eventually they do that in the franchise. They do. In the VOD movies and the Chucky TV show. But I was like, this would have been a good point to do that here. Because I go back to the beginning, Chad. That beginning with the peanut butter and jelly. When all of his blood mixed in with that giant vat of melted peanut butter plastic, then all the dolls should have come back as him. That would have been really cool. It would have been a literally army of Chuckies. But, you know, they don't do that in that movie. They do it later on, like, which was good. I like that they thought, like, no, let's do something a little different. And that's why the franchise is continued strong for this day. So, yes, this isn't as bad as something like Seed of Chucky, but it's nowhere near as good as the first two films. So I think I gave, like, the first movie a low full price. I gave the second one a full price. I don't know. I'd give this, like, a high rental, honestly. It's like, it's a rental. It's all right. Yeah, high rental, chat for me. Bride Chucky was fun. No, that definitely, that gave the franchise new life. And I'll definitely review that one day in the future, chat. But yes, there you go. That's the Child's Play trilogy. I hope you enjoyed all my reviews. Oh, let's see, chat. Let's see. Yeah, viewers is basically the U.S. political system, I suppose it is. That's true, Ghost Tabby. I'm happy Chucky doesn't see race and picking. He doesn't see race, sex, or gender. He'll, like, I don't give a shit. After a while, the big thing is, like, I'm sure he's like, he had a preference originally, you know, in the first movies, but at that point I'm like, oh, fuck this. I've been doing this for over a decade. I need to get a body to put myself in, which he eventually does. Oh, why do you make Woody Allen sound like Christopher Walken? I know my Woody Allen sounds like Christopher Walken. My Christopher Walken sounds like Woody Allen. It's over the place. Oh, all right, Casey, welcome to the stream. What are we doing today? Well, if you see in the description, we have a couple of things on the docket for this evening. I'll be playing the Mortuary Assistant and some Among Us and probably some Jackbox. I would throw my remote if they said TV said that. You must end the Child's Play. I've been like, that is so dumb, but it would have been so funny. Oh my God. Thank you, Giant Old Man. I'm glad you liked the review. Thank you, Hamilton. Appreciate that. Yes. Oh, 2004 with CF Chucky. Okay. Nice. Hamilton, have a great evening. I feel like this also rip off Good Omens with the Warm Games where he switches the fake ammo with real ammo. Oh, is that what happens? Never saw that movie. Blackstone, great salutation. Hope all is well. Hope Chad's well. I'm doing well, Blackstone. Just finished my review for Child's Play 3. We're just about to play some games. Oh, next is Brad Chucky, and I have to admit I'm a little mixed on that movie. I love Chucky, love Tiffany. They're both funny. They both drive the movie, but I freaking hate the two. Oh, the human leads? Yeah. No, they're not. Yeah, I agree. They're not as interesting as Andy or Kyle. Good point. Edgy, great review. Got head to bed. No problem, Edgy. Have a great evening, chat. Please do check out Edgy Berserker streams. Give her some support. Check out her platforms. Malcolm, maybe Child's Play 2. Best of the... Yeah, that for me as well, Malcolm. It's my favorite. You know, now of the ones that I've seen, I haven't seen the 2 VOD films. I need to watch those eventually. But if I were to rank at least the ones that I have seen at this point, and like I'll leave out the Chucky series because I'm like I want to see how that all wraps up eventually one day. But if I were to rank like the movies that I've seen, I would probably go Child's Play 2, Child's Play 1, Bride of Chucky, Child's Play 3. And then Seed of Chucky. And Seed of Chucky is probably the only one I would give like some old bullshit to. Colonel Useless, thank you for resubscribing. Welcome to stream. Hope you're doing well. 15 months of incredible support. My name is Christopher Walker's Child's Play. He is. It's Woody Allen, goddammit. They made it funny. That's true. No, they leaned heavily into, I mean, yeah, the first 3 Child's Play, they have moments of humor, no doubt. But 4 on, they very much became horror comedies. Agreed. Fire, they made it funny. All 4 should be all 4s should be a way to make fun of what the children. Yes, totally did. Correct. This was a nice RIP. Woody Walken, chat. Yes. Lee Boss first, Chucky revealing himself just but he had to still pick Andy because technically he didn't have a new body. He just had a refurbished one. Oh, I guess that's. I mean, they literally. I don't know. But no, he died. No, that's the thing. He died. They killed him in the first one, and they made him a new body. Your impression of the character Child's Play 3 was cracking me up, especially White. What was his name? Whitehurst, yeah. Or as I called him, Woody Allen. Thank you so much, Burka. I appreciate that. Pleasure to have you here too. Welcome. But yeah, chat, that was my review. I'm just gonna take a quick break,